All right, welcome back. We're so excited to have you here. Our next speaker is Niels Weillard. He is the CEO at Satelligence. Please join me in welcoming Niels to our virtual stage.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Niels. I'm the founder and CEO of Satelligence, and we are a satellite-powered spatial analytics company focusing on risk and performance of commodity production, agricultural commodity production. And then we're especially talking about the production of palm oil, of cocoa, soy, beef for the agro-food sector. And when we talk about risks, for example, we talk about fires and deforestation. I think everyone has heard about the fires and deforestation going on in the Amazon last year, where a lot of soy and beef and leather is being produced. And we see that increasingly consumers, they want to know that the products they buy do not contribute to negative environmental and social impact. So for retailers and consumer good brands, especially retailers, if you're selling over 200,000 of products in your shops, where to begin to get more transparency and traceability in your supply chains, to know actually if the beef you're selling or if the soy that you're selling is not coming from a destruction of forest or other ecosystems. We've seen very interesting progress by many companies, whether we are talking about growers and producers, the traders, the consumer good brands and retailers. We have seen a lot of effort being put in identifying where all the farms are, where all the concessions are. Concessions being like the plantations where all this production is going on. And secondly, we have seen that satellites enable us to know what's going on a daily basis and what is changing. And as a satellite monitoring company, we take many satellites that circle the globe. We have built an image processing software in the cloud that we can use every day to see changes. And before, it was very hard to see around the world what's happening because there's clouds everywhere, but there's now new satellites that can see through these clouds and new monitoring computing power to do that for the whole globe, like you see here in this picture. And with our satellites, we can see straight through the clouds and get an idea of, is this forest that we're looking at? Or is this maybe grassland? Are we looking at palm plantations? And we have people on the ground and partners of ours and our clients who are also gathering information on the ownership. So here you see, for example, where is all the palm growing that delivers the palm oil, which goes into cosmetics, goes into a lot of food products. And then in the black lines, we also see who is owning these plantations. So we put the satellite information in the context of the supply chain. And before a few years ago, this was just not possible. And we think that this is a really great trend. We see last year that despite the economic and social impact of COVID, the need for sustainable products has only increased, and the efforts that a lot of consumer good brands and retailers and growers are putting into getting better visibility of their supply chains is only increasing. So where to start if you have 200,000 of products? It is a very tricky situation, but if we get better visibility of all the farms, and here you have an example of what the satellite is seeing every day, where like a Pac-Man, we can see that the forest where it's being cut down, that is what you see happening here. We can see that from the satellite and put that in the context of the plantation, but we can also do that with our clients, which includes very big traders in grains and palm oil like Bunge and Cargill. and then see where they are sourcing. And for a company like Mondelez that we're working with, they can see where are their traders sourcing all their products. And so we can build a digital model of the whole supply chain and see which providers, which suppliers are at risk. Where is deforestation happening? In which farms? Where is fire happening? Where is drought? If we're talking about the fashion sector, where are areas on the ground that lead to depletion of groundwater, where cotton is farmed, but also too much water is being used? So this is an example of how satellite information is working together with supply chain contextual data, which before wasn't available. Still, it's a big challenge to get all these locations of the farms and to know all the linkages between the processors and the traders and manufacturers. But we're getting there, and the whole sector, all the stakeholders are getting there. So what can you do if you're a retailer or a consumer good brand? We now have the data from the satellites and from the geospatial information to know where low risk areas are. So when you're sourcing from those areas, so what they're calling jurisdictional approaches now, we can see which areas are okay and which areas are risky. What to do in these risky areas? Our information to pinpoint the highest risk areas of sourcing enable to engage with suppliers and talk to them, discuss with them what's happening here. Can you have zero deforestation policies implemented to make sure that this deforestation at these suppliers is stopping? What we have seen is that this engagement can lead to transformation, that it can lead to the stopping of deforestation within supply chains. We can see that the forest is still there on the satellite. And we think that this can lead to a new era of transparency, of better traceability. And in the end, consumers, buyers, suppliers, and also investors. That's also something that we have seen in recent times. Investors are also increasingly looking at better visibility of supply chains to see where there are risks. So I think that's in a nutshell the type of work that we're doing. We would really love to have a chat with you and get connected and discuss how we can help making supply chains more sustainable. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Niels. If you could stop sharing your screen, I know the audience wants to give you a huge virtual round of applause. Thank you again for sharing with us. All right, for the audience, it's time for you to make your way to your next session. And along the way, make sure you accept your connection request and check out our amazing AI exhibits. Thanks so much, and we'll see you around.